Today, it has become a popular opinion that limiting the number of terms of office one can hold in the U.S. Congress would be a better serve to the people of our nation. A lot of people think that having a constant change of people in Congress will be better for us so that people can't stay in as long. I think that that would be a problem because good congressmen might be forced to leave office. Peter Mills said that what we've seen happen is somebody gets into the House with no background and they decide that there's one thing that they've got to get done. They sacrifice practically everything in order to do that one thing, and they can't have any sense of patience. If somebody has a limit on on how long they have to change something, they're just going to focus on that one thing and not worry about all the other problems that are going on. They're just going to focus their small amount of time on one thing. Um, and then another problem might be is that they get rushed and they won't be able to finish that one thing that they wanted to get done because they don't have enough time. So that could be a problem with some of the good things on their campaign that they want us to that we vote them in to do, and then they might run out of time and not be able to finish that, and then it was pretty much just a waste. Then also the people who want to lead, they'll rush to the top faster than they would have before the term limits, but they won't get to stay as long, so they'll be less influential. And that goes back to not being able to maybe finish the good things that they started because of the term limits. Term limits will also allow for inexperienced legislators to have too much power and not be able to make wise decisions because they're so young and, again, inexperienced. There would be large turnarounds at the same time. Um, and so there would be a lot of older, experienced congressmen coming out and a lot of new, young, inexperienced congressmen coming in. And they'd be making all these large decisions for our country and experience. Um, and then with them not being as experienced, they're going to push for more power while they're able to stay in Congress since they have that time limit and they're going to be forced out again after a certain amount of time. They need to be able to stay in there and gain that experience so that they can make those good changes for us that we vote them in to be able to change. Um, like we don't want to vote somebody in and not be able, not them not be able to fulfill what we voted them in for. And we don't want a bunch of inexperienced people coming in and making these major decisions with not very many experienced people to help guide them in the right direction. And too much power, that would also bring too much power to lobbyists and special interest groups. They sit there and they try to persuade, these congressmen, and if they're experienced, then they're more likely to stand their ground and not be persuaded as easy as the inexperienced ones who are coming in. They're more likely to be persuaded easier by the lobbyists. The new members, it also makes lobbyists more even because the newer lobbyists will be able to persuade the new people just as easily as the older lobbyists would be able to. And they won't be able to finish what, I'm sorry, they won't be able to, keep those good relationships that they have with the older congressmen. And that could be a problem. I really think that we need older, experienced congressmen in office as well as new ones occasionally, but I think a rush of too many new ones could be a problem for our country. So I do not think that term limits are something that we need. We don't want all these new people coming in and making these decisions without the older, experienced people there to help as well. We don't want lobbyists making all the decisions because the new people can't stand their ground, and we don't want these young politicians to just get a power rush and stay just try to get to the top and make whatever decisions they can just to get to the top in the short amount of time that they have in office. So those are three major reasons why I think that term limits. I don't think that term limits are something that would be good for our country. And Marjorie Sauerbach Thompson claims that legislators are ineffective because they have one eye on the clock at all time. They need to be able to be open and have all the time that they need to make the good changes that we want them to make. Thank you for listening.